Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday morning and welcome to video 1. Before we go into this video, I want to say thank you to everybody who has joined my Patreon. The numbers are rising. The link is in the description box. If you want unfiltered content, that's where you're going to go. We are going to discuss in this video the fact that Netflix is taking another shot at the royal family. I think they just can't help themselves. So let's just jump in and cover it, shall we? Let's go. I was completely unaware about this until I saw the article, so I don't think the numbers of watching it are going to be big, but here we go. Netflix has done another drama on the royal family called Scoop, and they're trying to say that it's an indication that Andrew is a liability and unfit for the family. Now, I think it's a cover for all the Hollywood pedos, is what I think it is, but, okay. For those of you who may not know this, I don't know how you couldn't know it, but Andrew gave a very disastrous interview with a lady by the name of Emily Maitlis. She was an interviewer for the BBC. This interview originally took place in 2019, and the only reason that it took place was because that picture of him and Epstein came out, and he was trying to rationalize his friendship with this guy. We all know the name Epstein and that he was a convicted offender and what he was convicted for. Now, in his warped up delusional mind, Andrew actually told people afterwards that the interview was fabulous and went well. Now, in this interview, he gave a lot of really weird explanations. He gave a lot of one-liners. He said he didn't sweat because of something that happened to him in the Falklands. It's just unbelievable. And so just a few days later, he stepped back from royal life and was stripped of all of his honors and patronages. So now Netflix has decided they're going to aim at the royal family again with this show. So it's called, again, Scoop. And it's supposed to be dissecting the interview through the lens of the three women who, I guess, made it possible. So in 2010, a British photojournalist, Jay Donnelly, was in New York and was trying to capture a picture of Prince Andrew visiting Jeffrey Epstein at his Manhattan mansion. And he went through Central Park and he ended up getting that picture of Andrew and Epstein walking together after Epstein was released from jail for soliciting from minors. 9 years later, the BBC is having all kinds of financial issues and layoffs, and they're trying to figure out what they can do, what kind of story can they get, how can they save their jobs. This is really what it came down to. Just as an FYI, you should know that Sam McAllister, the journalist who actually secured the interview with Prince Andrew, ended up doing a memoir in 2022 named Scoop, Behind the Scenes of the Most Shocking Interviews. And you should know it took 13 months to build up a relationship in order to get that interview. Just an FYI. We all remember this woman, Virginia Giuffre. She used to be Virginia Roberts, who claimed she was forced to do things with Andrew. By the way, she's also a proven perjurer who later on denied that she did anything with Andrew. So you never know if this woman is telling the truth or not. But anyway, they ended up doing this interview. So the interview was 50 minutes long. Andrew made a number of absolutely outrageous statements. He said he did not regret his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein because it led him to meet people and have opportunities that were, quote, very useful. You should know that initially there were not supposed to be any questions about Epstein, but then after Epstein removed himself from this earth, supposedly, that changed. As the interview progressed, Andrew started making statements that were just ridiculous. At one point, Andrew said I couldn't have been where they said I was because I was with my daughter at a pizza parlor. And then, of course, just after the interview aired, Andrew was met with just waves of backlash and announced he was stepping back from public life. They dubbed the broadcast a car crash, and critics called it everything from memeable to tone deaf. And what people are really saying now is that now that the crown is gone, it seems like this is just another example of Netflix feasting on the British royal family's dirty laundry. Oh, I completely agree. And do I think Harry might have even had a hand in on this? Yeah. The day the show came out on Netflix, Andrew was seen out riding the horses with an aide. Nobody really cared. I don't think he really cares at this point. I think he's just so done. He's already lost everything. So, I think his attitude at this point is just go ahead, do your worst. So people are saying that Andrew is a liability. He should be removed from the family. Listen, the only time you see Andrew is at when he's going to church and family functions. He's already been removed from public duty. So I'm not sure what people are screaming about. So it was released on Netflix and critics are really divided. Some are saying that the drama was very quote unquote surface level. Now others have said that the actors had great performances. Okay, yeah, they could have great performances, but yet the show itself missed the real story. They said that this show lacked the quote investigative spirit and sense of paranoia that the story demanded. Radio Times gave it 2 out of 5 stars, saying the film, quote, resembles little more than a functional recap of the events. Now let's do a little fact checking. In Scoop, it looks like the interview was set up in a matter of weeks, but actually it took over a year. Now, at one point in the negotiations, Scoops, says that Princess Beatrice was in the room. Is that true? Actually, it is. She's one of the ones who pushed him to do the interview. Now, the big question is, will Andrew ever be able to live down that interview? And it would appear not. It looks like Andrew is a spoiled, self-entitled person. You have a royal court, but you have the court of public opinion. And while he's denying the allegations, the day of that interview, he finished any chance he had of working in the public. Unfortunately for Andrew, it was Beatrice who pushed him to do the interview, which turned out to be a big mistake, and his public life is finished. What I get upset about is when people get upset that he goes with the family to services for Easter and he goes to church and he goes to family functions. He may not be a working royal, but he's still a member of the family. He has the right to go to those things. People need to lay off. All right, guys, you know what to do. Put down those comments, make them good. Don't forget to hit the like button on the video and the subscribe button. If you've already hit them, double check. And follow me on over to video 2. You are not going to want to miss this. Let's go.